Welcome to the Total Acre Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Scebold. This podcast is all about helping growers unlock their potential. We aim to bring listeners agronomic insights, valuable educational interviews, real-world strategies that optimize yield and maximize ROI. This show is going to explore innovative practices, creative strategies, and breakthrough products with people that are shaping the industry, all through engaging and inspiring stories. Who better to learn from than the legendary world champion David Hula, Randy Dowdy, and Alex Harrell? Because in farming and in life, iron always sharpens iron. And the best way to grow or get better is to continually be learning, networking with peers, have access to industry leaders, and the tools, tips, and tricks, and overall quality of information. Knowledge is power. Tune in, hit play. Let's unlock your farm's potential together.
Hey y'all, Chad Scebold here with Total Acre. Total Acre Podcast. We're kind of doing a little live setup out here at the research farm, but I think it's a great time to talk about some of the things that maybe you can't see, right? Some of the behind the scenes, and it's the data, right? Within Total Acre, we talk about YMS, got to be able to measure things. Well, 100%. What do we use that data for? And so Matt with Arva Intelligence, I'm excited to have you here today. Thanks for showing up, bud.
Oh, this is awesome. First and foremost, I think you may have some of the best crops in the country. So if you haven't been to Missouri Valley, until the worst hailstorm comes, if you haven't been to Missouri Valley, there's some phenomenal crops actually from here all the way down to Kansas.
They
look
yeah.
really, really good. So, Matt Rohlik, Arva Intelligence, a farmer from Minnesota. Been on the road lately a lot and got to see a lot of different crops and see a bunch of different things. We're an agronomic optimization company. We work with Total Acre. We're here at the Redux Day here on the experimental farm, research farm today, seeing a lot of different neat things. And one of the things we want to talk about is just a lot of the farmers that are involved in Total Acre today do a lot of good things already. They are some of the most sustainable farmers that are out there. It's not necessarily just all their cover crops, no-till, minimum till, that kind of stuff, but leveraging products that help build sustainability, right? So think about going from a 1.1 or a 1.2 nitrogen use efficiency or nitrogen per bushel, unit of N per bushel, down to a 0.6, 0.7. And a lot of it's optimizing these products that we're seeing here today.
Sure. Well, Matt, listen, it's not always super easy because everybody'd be doing it, but I will tell you,
right.
Your background, being a producer, like I'm telling you two things right now. One is if you have something that's farmer grade and you make it easy, right? Producers can use tools like what you have put together. And Matt, I don't want to pump your tires up too much here, but you were pretty instrumental in creating some of these products, working with companies that say, hey, you know what, if they're doing a lot of the right things, and it's not always, you don't have to be a Total Acre member. There's a lot of growers out there that are doing a lot of cool things, but it just so happens we definitely like to measure
we
things.
are, that's right.
But if you look at, if you're already doing these things, how do we unlock some of that potential? And that's kind of the Total Acre thing.
That's right.
Using data, right? How does that look from Arva's standpoint? Like, you go find the folks that are trying to figure out how to become more sustainable. There's these opportunities where companies like Nestle, there's others out there. I don't want to
Mars, Walmart, absolutely.
So you work with them, bring in these programs, and it's great to be a part of Total Acre because our growers have access to be able to do this just as your other growers do, but being able to unlock some of those dollars that are maybe hidden.
Yeah, no, I think there's a couple things. First and foremost, with the YMS software, you guys are collecting a lot of data and information. And this is data from not only the right now this year, what we're doing kind of step by step, week over week, if you're in some of the more intense programs, but what you've done in the past, right? You can learn from the past, you look forward to some of the things that were going on. So, from biologicals, humics, fulvics, we've got nitrogen inhibitors, all these different kind of things that we're learning about. How do we place variable rate technology, so on and so forth. Every single one of them represents an opportunity to get into a sustainability program. So obviously we're in corn, soybean, a little bit of wheat country here, but for even those that are in specialty crops, or just, think about rice, cotton, beans, those type of things. Sugar beets, sugar beets, so we gotta call them guys out. But even apples and oranges and those type of things, tomatoes, there's all kinds of opportunities, but it all starts with that data. And YMS has taken a lot of that data and information, collected it. We can leverage that to sell the outcomes of that data, a lower carbon footprint supply shed, to the CPGs or the consumer packaged good companies.
And listen, I want to be gentle how I say this, but if you look at the opportunity to share data, it is sensitive.
100%.
But if that data is used and utilized in a fashion to be able to receive some sort of mutually beneficial reward, right? We'll just call it dollars. Now all of a sudden you've got an opportunity to, invest back into your operation. And I've seen big checks, right? And I don't want to say every check is a big check, but if you're looking $19 to $27 an acre, a couple $105,000, $108,000 checks, a couple $30,000 checks, and it's not always size that matters. It's an opportunity. How do you maximize ROI in your operation?
100%. That ROI is everything today, right? Like farmer profitability. There's a lot of farmers that are in some tough spots or potentially in some tough spots, and this helps reward them for what they're already doing in some cases or what they've adopted in the last couple of years to make that farmer profitability even better. So yes, there has been some very healthy checks that have got out to a lot of farmers. Our encouragement is to talk to your trusted advisors, ask questions, learn what's happening out there. There's a lot of programs coming here very, very shortly. We want to optimize that and use the data and information you guys are already doing today.
Well, kind of a fun note, again, his farm background, being in cattle, he was telling a story about, I'm gonna call it the coasts, right?
Sure.
Bringing folks out and being able to see farming differently than what we see farming, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And I think part of what you do really well is you educate the masses that may not be as familiar with agriculture and how we grow crops and what sustainability is to me versus maybe somebody on the coast, right?
100%.
And so maybe just talk about that a little bit, because again, farmer grade, making it easy, but then educating. This is the big hidden piece of what he does, and it's the relationship. They call them CPGs, right? And I'll let you use the acronym later, but it's the relationship with the companies that are wanting to say, hey, we're more sustainable by investing in, and that's where Matt really, the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like to call them our urban cousins, or people that live in the streets, or not the streets, that's not the right word. They live in cities.
Right.
Concrete jungles, there's probably the better thing to say, right? They don't have the pleasure of walking outside every morning, hearing, smelling, seeing these kind of things. And they don't know what we do. We're farmers are extremely humble. They don't like to be boastful, just as a generality. Right. But we have a story to tell. And every farmer that you talk to that's maybe getting ready to pass on to the next generation, the thing they always say is, I want to leave it better than how I got it. Sure. Right? Yep. That's our version is from a farmer perspective of sustainability. That's maybe not what my brother, who's quite a few years younger than me, how they view it. They view it a little bit differently, but we're really talking the same language, just kind of passing by each other. So being able to bring these two sides together is extremely important. Evangelize what we're doing here on the farm. One of the funny stories I always tell people is I walked up to one of my sprayers, took a nozzle off, grabbed it, licked the stuff, and they're like, you're going to die. Well, the problem, some of what we have is we might go across that field 7 times. Sure. But 5 of those 7 were fertility. Right. That was just foliar feeding. We're optimizing that is more sustainable than a lot of people give credit to. We don't know that. So getting education, like you said, Chad, is extremely important, and making sure that that's all filling together. So that's what we're here to do. I think we've done a fairly decent job, or we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. So we're very humbled and blessed for that, and definitely looking to expand into additional opportunities.
Well, Matt, it's a testament to what you've been able to bring to the Arva team, and some of the things that I'm excited to work with you on in the future. But as I look up, there's a jet, and I see that jet, and I can't help but think of SAF, right? So everybody's talking about sustainable aviation fuel, and how do I get my dollar, and high level, give me 45Z. I know you guys are working with some of that stuff. 45Z, we're in a very unique situation, obviously right here on the farm where you're at. We happen to be in high corn growing, high ethanol areas, which in the future are going to be more SAF or sustainable aviation fuel areas. There is an opportunity for farmers to be a part of this solution. We're anticipating within the next month or two, it looks like the IRS and the USDA are going to come up with something finally here, which is really good. So we'll find out kind of how the dust settles on that opportunity. But 45 million acres of our 92 million acre corn crop goes into biofuels. Yep, absolutely.
About 6 some odd million of that biofuels go into what I would call plastics, detergents, cleaning supplies. The rest of that's going into some kind of a fuel. So that may either be ethanol or SAF. And this is going to be a great opportunity for farmers to showcase the sustainability they're doing, all that data and information that they've been collecting, leverage that for an opportunity for an additional premium on their grain. So
I love it. I know there's a lot there. Right?
There is.
And
There's a lot. Yeah.
Check out the website. Give his team a call. But I will also say that one of the things that's interesting there too is, a lot of things that are out in the space or maybe have been in the space in the past, you're locking up multiple years.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be a concern that I would throw out. Just from producer to producer is like, make sure you know what you're getting into, right?
100%.
That's a certain, and I think you could help advise in that case as well.
Yeah, I would say that's a great thing, right? Like, I think as farmers, we're safe to say this, we're pressured to buy next year's seed before we've even got this crop combine.
That's right.
So we're already making decisions a long time ahead of it. So we're planning for that, for what we're doing from a sustainability or from an input perspective on that sustainability. Now, sometimes Mother Nature throws us some curveballs, and you guys are in a fortunate spot right here, but there's other parts of the country that Total Acre members are in that are not so fortunate right now and have had to switch crops and do some stuff. So having some options and some opportunities is extremely important. Knowing what you can do here, what you can do there. I always tell people 50% of my grain goes to ethanol, 50% of my grain goes to feed. Right? Yep. And there's opportunities in both things. So understanding where your grain is going and what the opportunities are and what you need to do on an annual basis,
yep.
Right? Because every year is a little bit different. Rotations change, things change. You maybe rent a little bit more ground, switch some ground, whatever it might be, buy a piece here or there. So we want to make sure that that's flexible, and that's why we've thankfully been able to have some partners that are flexible with that as well too.
I love it. I'm going to change gears one more time here.
Yes, sir.
So the last couple minutes here, I know you're kind of excited. He's cowboy, whether believe it or not. He's got cattle, and I don't smell that money out here. We don't have that kind of high end stuff. But for the guys that are out there running livestock, there's some cool stuff out there. Maybe just tease a little bit. Give me the one or two things around livestock. If guys are looking on that sustainability payment side, give me the last one or two things here.
So, the joke back in the day when we raised hogs, people would come to our farm and they say, "Oh, that smells disgusting." Yeah, that's the smell of money. Well, it's not necessarily the case today in hogs, so I'm not saying it is that.
Right.
But cattle have been fairly decent.
Yep.
We've been able to. I was able to upgrade Mom's vehicle, so that was good.
Nice.
So cattle did fairly decent. But look, dairy. There's a lot of dairy across the country, and a lot of you guys may not necessarily have dairy, but you are feeding dairy, right? So
sure.
they might have some alfalfa, you might have some sorghum, corn, wheatledge, oatlage, whatever that might be. The feed going into that silage is extremely important, and having that sustainability. Same thing with livestock. 40 some odd, 60 odd % in different areas of the country is going into livestock feed. So that could be pork, poultry, eggs, beef, and then mama cows. There's some stuff coming as well. So I would just say that I think in 25, 26, 27 here, the livestock market is kind of settling in on where they're at, and a lot of exciting stuff to come.
Well, and we were just sat into this expert farm, the research farm, and I know they've done a lot of manure applications out here. How do we take what's there and enhance, right? Some of the nutrient, I call it nutrient availability, right?
100%.
Enhance that. So back to kind of where we're at here today with the Redox Research Farm, I think that's interesting, right? And I think as much as ag, start to finish, right, from what we eat to what comes back around, it's an interesting world. Everything's interrelated, and I think if you get a chance, check out what Matt's doing. It is really something that can change the game for your operation. Matt, thanks a lot for coming in today. It was great seeing you.
Absolutely, as always, buddy.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in today to this episode of the Total Acre Podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed it, you liked the conversation, be sure to subscribe. You know the drill. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Go give us a click, give us a like. Until next time, though, keep pushing forward. We hope that you found something unique, something powerful here that might help you unlock your farm's potential. We look forward to seeing you next week. Be safe. Talk more here soon on the next Total Acre Podcast.